Richard is 71 years old. He spent 44 years working as a machinist in a factory outside of Cleveland. He never missed a day of work unless his doctor forced him to stay home. He paid into Social Security every single paycheck for over 4 decades without complaint because he believed in the promise. The promise that when he got old, when his body couldn't do the work anymore, that money would be there for him. And for the last 6 years, it was. Every month, like clockwork, $1,872 landed in his bank account. On the second Wednesday of the month. Richard built his entire life around that deposit. His rent, his insulin, his groceries, his car insurance. Everything was timed to that one payment because that one payment was all he had. On March 19, 2026, Richard woke up, poured his coffee, and logged into his bank account on the tablet his granddaughter bought him last Christmas. He expected to see his deposit. Instead, he saw a balance of $43.12. No deposit, no pending transaction, nothing. He called Social Security. He sat on hold for almost 3 hours. When he finally reached a human being, the representative told him his benefits had been suspended 11 days earlier. Richard asked why. The representative said he had failed to respond to a verification request that was sent to his email address on February 3rd. Richard said he never saw any email. The representative said it didn't matter. The email was sent. The 30 days passed. His file was flagged. His benefits were stopped. In the next several minutes, I'm going to tell you exactly what is happening inside the Social Security Administration right now. I'm going to explain the 3 rule changes that went into effect in early 2026 that are catching seniors completely off guard. And I'm going to walk you through every single step you need to take, starting today, to make sure what happened to Richard does not happen to you. I'm Zane, and this is Senior Security Updates. Richard is 71 years old. He spent 44 years working as a machinist in a factory outside of Cleveland. He never missed a day of work unless his doctor forced him to stay home. He paid into Social Security every single paycheck for over 4 decades without complaint because he believed in the promise. The promise that when he got old, when his body couldn't do the work anymore, that money would be there for him. And for the last 6 years, it was. Every month, like clockwork, $1,872 landed in his bank account. On the second Wednesday of the month. Richard built his entire life around that deposit. His rent, his insulin, his groceries, his car insurance. Everything was timed to that one payment because that one payment was all he had. On March 19, 2026, Richard woke up, poured his coffee, and logged into his bank account on the tablet his granddaughter bought him last Christmas. He expected to see his deposit. Instead, he saw a balance of $43.12. No deposit, no pending transaction, nothing. He called his bank first. They told him no deposit had been received from the Social Security Administration. He called Social Security next. He sat on hold for almost 3 hours. When he finally reached a human being, the representative told him his benefits had been suspended 11 days earlier. Richard asked why. The representative said he had failed to respond to a verification request that was sent to his email address on February 3rd. Richard said he never saw any email. The representative said it didn't matter. The email was sent. The 30 days passed. His file was flagged. His benefits were stopped. Richard doesn't use email. His granddaughter set up a Gmail account for him 2 years ago so he could receive photos of her kids. He's opened it maybe 5 times in his life. He didn't know Social Security had that address. He didn't know they were sending official government notices to it. And he certainly didn't know that ignoring an email he never saw could cost him the only income he has. When Richard came to see me, he wasn't angry. He was confused. He kept saying the same thing over and over. I did everything right. I worked my whole life. I filed my taxes. I never cheated anyone. How is this happening to me? Richard is not an isolated case. He is not an outlier. He is one of hundreds of seniors I've either heard about or consulted with in just the past 90 days who have had their Social Security benefits suspended, reduced, or frozen. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly what is happening inside the Social Security Administration right now. I'm going to explain the 3 rule changes that went into effect in early 2026 that are catching seniors completely off guard. I'm going to show you who is most at risk and why. And then I'm going to walk you through every single step you need to take starting today to make sure what happened to Richard does not happen to you. This is not something that might affect you someday. This is affecting real people right now. And if you're collecting Social Security, or if someone you love is collecting Social Security, the next few minutes could be the most important thing you hear all year. Before 2026, the Social Security Administration operated on a system that most seniors understood. You applied for benefits. You were approved. Your check came every month. If something changed in your life, you were expected to report it. But if nothing changed, you were largely left alone. The government reached out to you if there was a specific problem. Maybe they suspected fraud. Maybe there was a death record that matched your file. But for the vast majority of retirees, Social Security was a quiet, reliable, predictable part of life. You didn't have to think about it. It just worked. That system no longer exists. What replaced it is something fundamentally different. Something faster, more automated, and far less forgiving. And the people it's hurting most are the people who can least afford to be hurt. The first major change is something the SSA calls mandatory annual eligibility verification. In plain language, it means that every single person receiving Social Security benefits, whether retirement, survivor, or disability, must now prove once a year that they still qualify for the money they're receiving. This isn't a form that shows up if the government suspects a problem. This is a blanket requirement for everyone. Once a year, you will receive a verification notice asking you to confirm and document your current income from every source, your living situation, your marital status, and depending on your benefit type, your assets. You must respond within 30 calendar days. Not 30 business days, calendar days. And if you don't respond within that window, the Social Security Administration now has the legal authority to suspend your benefits without any further warning. Let me make sure you understand what that means in practical terms. If you're in the hospital and you miss the notice, your benefits can be suspended. If you're traveling and don't check your messages, your benefits can be suspended. If the notice goes to an email address you forgot you had, your benefits can be suspended. There is no grace period. There is no courtesy call. There is no second chance built into the system. The SSA says this change is necessary because every year, billions of dollars in benefits are paid to people who no longer qualify, people who went back to work and earned too much, people who remarried and lost eligibility for survivor benefits. From a bureaucratic standpoint, annual verification is a logical tool to catch these errors faster. But here's what the bureaucrats don't talk about. The overwhelming majority of people caught up in this system are not committing fraud. They're seniors like Richard who are living honest, quiet lives on fixed incomes and who suddenly find themselves cut off from the money they depend on. The second major change is the one that's causing the most damage, and it's the reason I called this the email trap. For as long as most of us can remember, Social Security communicated with beneficiaries through the United States Postal Service. Paper letters, paper envelopes delivered to your mailbox. That era is effectively over. Starting in 2026, the Social Security Administration shifted to what they internally call an electronic first communication model. What that means is that the default method for sending official notices, including the mandatory annual verification requests, is now electronic, email, or a message posted inside your My Social Security online account. Here is the part that makes this so dangerous. Under the new policy, the moment Social Security sends an electronic notice, you are legally considered to have been notified. Read that again. The moment they send it, not the moment you read it, not the moment you open it, not the moment you become aware it exists. The clock starts when they hit send. If that email goes to your spam folder, you've been notified. If it goes to an email account you haven't checked in 6 months, you've been notified. The only exceptions are narrow. If you are 75 or older, you can request paper notices. If you can formally prove you have no internet access at all, you may qualify for an exemption. Everyone else, and that includes every single beneficiary between the ages of 62 and 74, is now expected to actively monitor their email and their online Social Security account. Think about who this affects. Millions of Americans in their 60s and early 70s who grew up in a world of paper mail, phone calls, and in-person visits. People who may have an email address, but use it only to receive photos from grandchildren or sale alerts from a department store. These are the people now being told that their financial survival depends on checking an inbox they barely know how to find. The third change is the one most seniors have no idea is happening, and in many ways, it's the most unsettling of all. It's called expanded automated data matching. In the old system, Social Security largely relied on you to report changes in your life. If you got a part-time job, you were supposed to tell them. That system of trust is gone. Today, the Social Security Administration has automated data sharing agreements with the Internal Revenue Service, state tax agencies, the Department of Veterans Affairs, unemployment offices, banks, and financial institutions. What that means is that the government is no longer waiting for you to report changes. It is actively searching for them. Every day, automated systems are pulling information from these sources and comparing it against your Social Security file. If anything doesn't match, if there's a new source of income they didn't know about, a bank account that wasn't there before, a property transaction, the system generates a flag. And once that flag appears, the burden immediately shifts to you to explain it. Now, let me tell you who is getting hit the hardest by these three changes working together. The first group is seniors who work while collecting benefits. If you claim Social Security before your full retirement age and you're still earning income, you are subject to annual earnings limits. Under the new system, real-time data matching means Social Security can see your earnings as they happen. A new 1099 shows up in February. Your benefits can be reduced in March. The second group is widows and widowers receiving survivor benefits. Survivor benefits are among the most sensitive in the entire Social Security system because they are directly tied to marital status. The third group is seniors receiving supplemental security income. SSI has the strictest financial requirements of any Social Security program. So what do? How do you protect yourself in a system that has fundamentally changed the rules? I'm going to give you 7 steps. Every single one of them matters. Step 1. Go to SSA.gov today and either create your My Social Security account or log into the one you already have. Once you're in, check the email address on file. If it's outdated, if it belongs to someone else, if it's an account you never check, change it immediately. Step 2. While you're in your account, verify every piece of contact information, your mailing address, your phone number, your personal details. Step 3. Start building a file right now. A physical folder, a drawer, a box, whatever works for you. In that file, put copies of your most recent tax return, your benefit statements, your pay stubs if you're working, your bank statements. Step 4. Set a recurring reminder on your phone or write it on your calendar. Once a month, log into your My Social Security account and check for messages. Step 5. If you are working while receiving benefits, keep every single record of your earnings, every pay stub, every 1099. Step 6. If anything in your life changes, anything at all, report it to Social Security immediately through your online account or by calling their office. Step 7. If you receive any notice from Social Security, whether by email, by mail, or as a message in your online account, do not ignore it. If you don't understand what it's asking, call Social Security at 1-800-772-1213. Now let me tell you something important about your rights, because even though this system is harsh, you are not powerless. If your benefits are suspended or reduced, you have the right to appeal. The first level is called a request for reconsideration. Let me come back to Richard for a moment. It's been 5 weeks since his benefits were suspended. Richard's benefits will be reinstated. I'm confident of that. But the weeks of suffering he's endured, the stress, the fear, none of that had to happen. Your Social Security benefits belong to you. You earned them over a lifetime of work, but protecting them now requires something it never required before. Vigilance. Check your accounts. Update your information, respond to every notice, keep records of everything, and never ever assume that because you've done nothing wrong, the system will leave you alone. The system doesn't care whether you've done anything wrong. It only cares whether you responded on time. If this video helped you understand what's happening with Social Security in 2026, please subscribe to Senior Security Updates so you don't miss future updates. Share this with any senior you know who receives Social Security benefits. This information could save someone from losing their monthly check. I'm Zane from Senior Security Updates, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay informed, stay protected.